Journal time. Last night was interesting. So last night was a Christmas party for the gym that I've been a part of ever since it opened, and I was sponsored for them for a long time while I was an active competitor. And I don't know if I thought this into reality, because earlier this week in one of my video journals I kind of talked about this topic, and then last night it just kind of manifested itself. So maybe it's coincidence, maybe I brought it upon myself, who knows. So show up to the party, and when I get there, basically everybody is already there. Like my core group of friends from the area, both from my gym that I own and from the gym that I train at while I'm in town, which is the gym who's throwing the Christmas party. And I get there, and our whole core group of friends has a table, and it's full. And there's literally, the table's full except me. And I immediately just felt extremely isolated. And I don't know, there's some kind of history with me feeling isolated from the group, and it's been since my back injury and dealing with all this mental stuff. I've felt very isolated from the group. Not necessarily from anything that anybody's done. It's just my own shit. And I immediately got very anxious. I tried to, I walked around and I kind of talked to a few people, but there's some kind of other times where I was just kind of, like just awkwardly standing there, just with no place to sit. And it eventually got to a point where I was just randomly like walking around the room. I would try to pretend like I was looking at the food, or I'd pretend I was looking for the bathroom or water, but it literally felt like everybody, and I understand this is not the reality. This is just where my brain went. And it reminds me a lot of high school. My brain immediately went to, everybody in the room is looking at you. Everybody in the room is laughing at the fact that you don't have a place to sit. And again, I understand that's not the reality, but that's where my brain was. And that was my reality at the moment, that everybody in the room was looking at you and laughing at the fact that you didn't have a place to sit with your group of friends, and nobody in the group was doing anything to accommodate that. And I didn't, it's not that I wanted to leave, I had to leave. Like, I literally felt like I was on a ship that was sinking. Like, it wasn't, I'm gonna leave to get some attention, or I'm gonna leave so people, message me like, well, why'd you leave, so I can tell them why. And it just, no, like, I had to leave. Like, I felt like I was on a sinking ship, or there was a, you're in a building where a bomb was gonna explode, or just something. Like, I had to leave. I had to get out. And my coat was like on someone's chair at the table where my crew was sitting, and someone even like stopped me, and they're like, oh, you're not leaving already, are you? And I was like, no, I'm not leaving. Granted, this is like, I was at the party for like 20 minutes, you know what I mean? So me leaving 20 minutes after getting there is obvious that something is wrong. But yeah, somebody even called me out, and they're like, you're not leaving, are you? And I was like, no, I'm not leaving. And then I just walked out and didn't say anything to anybody. And then just was in a weird mood, and I just went to a bar that my stomach hurt, and I knew if I had like some soup or something, I'd feel better. So there's a place in town I know that has really good wild rice soup. So I was like, I'm just gonna go sit at the bar, eat some soup, just chill out, just kind of figure things out. That's what I did. And it's hard to explain. I mean, I feel like I interpret things different than everybody else, and then when I try to explain myself, people can't see where I'm coming from. I've noticed that I burp a lot on these. I don't know if it's nerves, but I noticed that like minutes into these things, I had this burping. Maybe that's nerves. Um, where was I going? Oh, um, I don't expect anything from people. Like I don't expect treatment. I don't expect people to do things for me. Like I don't expect when I walk into the building for someone to just like roll out the red carpet and then make sure that I have a place to sit, make sure that I have food to eat, make sure that my needs are met. I don't expect that. But when that stuff doesn't happen, you're telling me where you stand. And that's fine. I can't I can't so it's the word I'm looking for. Emphasize. I can't emphasize that enough. I don't expect people to take care of me or to roll out the red carpet or that shit, but what you do and what you don't do is playing your hand. So in my mind, if nobody acknowledges the fact that I don't have a place to sit and nobody makes any effort to get me a place to sit, you're just showing your hand, you know what I mean? And it's not, and I don't expect them to do it. So it's not, I'm not mad because, I'm not mad because I didn't have a place to sit. I'm not mad because nobody like tried to accommodate me and encouraged me to sit down or like pull up a chair in the corner here. Like, I'm not mad about that. Like, I didn't leave because I wanted somebody to message me and like, oh, what's wrong? And I could be like, and I could say, oh, I felt left out. Nobody likes me, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's not the case. Like, I look deeper than that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's telling me where I stand. Because if the situation was reversed and there was somebody that their company I wanted there, like, and I saw that, I would make an effort to make sure that they felt welcome. But again, I struggle saying this point because people will ignore the fact that I say that has nothing to do with that, and it's just a way of, I kind of see people's hand, and I can't emphasize that I'm not mad. I'm not mad, or I'm not upset with people. I'm not upset with anybody. It's just there's a situation and I felt extremely isolated and I didn't want to leave. I had to leave, and I got out of there immediately, and I wasn't waiting like by my phone for people to message me like, oh, where'd you go? What's wrong? Like, that's, I can't emphasize that enough. That's not what was going on. And I had brought up earlier in the week in one of my journal videos how I want desperately for friendships. I want desperately for intimacy with people. But on the other hand, I'm so terrified of rejection that completely trumps friendship. And this was just like a prime example. Like I just felt a rejection, and I immediately felt embarrassed, and I felt like I was in a dark room with a spotlight on me, and everybody was looking at the fact that I didn't have a place to sit, which I understand stupid. I get that. I get it. It's like it's like high school teenager. It just, I understand it's stupid. I felt like I was going to say something else. Maybe not in regards to this, but I thought I was going to say something else. I suppose I'll remember it, and that'll be a video for another time. But yeah, that's what happened. It's my personal shit I got to work on. It's nobody's responsibility but my own to take care of that. Journal done.